Good morning, Bolon. How are you doing today, my friend?
Good morning. Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Oh, couldn't be better if I'm being honest with you, my friend. Yeah, it's a good start to the day. I've personally been looking forward to this conversation now for what is it, about a week and a half since we first started connecting, I believe it was.
Yeah, something
And
like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Looking
one,
forward to it as well.
I love it, man. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I've done a little bit of research, and the more I do, the more excited I get. So the day's finally come, and
Yeah.
I've made this comment a couple of times, but I'm feeling like a kid at Christmas here. So we're still waiting for one more person to join us. He'll get here when he gets here. But in the meantime, why don't you give us a quick introduction to yourself and give us a brief overview of what DeFi Kingdoms is?
Yeah, for sure. So I am Bolon. I am the director of player engagement. So community, PR, socials, really anything kind of outward facing is part of my realm of responsibility. DeFi Kingdoms. So we've launched almost 3 years ago now. And essentially, we launched as a gamified DeFi protocol. And built out all of the various DeFi aspects of that. And then the plan was always to then build out a game on top of that DeFi protocol. So ever since then, we've been building out this RPG game that really integrates directly into different aspects of the DeFi protocol. So I know we'll get a little further into that as we go. But the whole goal is to build a primarily on-chain RPG with an open, player-driven economy that, everything in the game is a token. Everything, for the most part, with only one or two exceptions, is tradable. Players own all of their assets and are able to buy, sell, trade freely as they wish, because that's what we all wanted to see from a game. So super excited to be working on doing exactly that.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, just to start off the bat, Kobe, I'm going to give you some props here in a quick second, but I have to reply to this because I'll probably forget otherwise. It was the DeFi Web3 gaming connection that just really piqued my interest here. Excellent. Background music's a little too loud. I appreciate that comment here. Let's give you some respect here. Germ Curry, appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you. Excellent. So bowling, awesome. I'm super excited to dive into it. We gotta say hello to Kobe. Kobe, my man, thank you for joining us today. How you doing, my friend? What's happening?
GM, I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I too loud? Check.
Crystal clear.
All right, cool. Man, I had quite the morning, so I won't bore you with the details, but I made it.
Hey.
Yeah, super awesome. Excited to dive in here, and overall, just really excited to continue to share the word, spread the word. You know what I mean? In terms of the existing Metis ecosystem participants, obviously there's a few exceptions that are already plugged in, but I just want to help do my part and make sure everybody knows the best way to get involved, and all that good stuff. So happy to be here.
I love it, man. Hey, excellent. Super glad you're able to make it. Glad you're doing okay. You look stoked. I feel your vibe. It's okay. That's great news. And then just to kind of, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. It sounds like it's also it's pushing through the music on your DeFi Kingdoms tab. You might want to pop that one open and just adjust the master volume down a little bit there as well.
Okay.
You can mute it, but we do have custom music from a phenomenal composer, so that's up to you.
Yes.
But yeah, it sounds like it was pushing it through from that tab as well.
I have 100% realized that. Okay, how's that sounding now? Is that okay? Perfect, guys. Excellent. No, I appreciate that. We are setting ourselves up for a smooth call today.
It's all about the teamwork.
It's exactly dreams working. So it was actually Kobe who brought to my attention DeFi Kingdoms in the first place. And I know Kobe's been doing a lot of work with Metis through his own project and then through just, being a part of the community. So Kobe, appreciate you for getting us going here today. Also, Bolon, I wanted to mention I shared the link to this space. So I'm not sure if you wanted to share that with your community as well, just to I know there were a lot of people who are really excited about checking this out today. So that's in the private chat on the right-hand side. You can see that there and use that as you will. It's all yours.
Let's
Perfect. Well, real quick, guys, we should probably introduce ourselves. So my name's Trav. I'm the co-host of Web3 Matters, and our mission at Web3 Matters is to highlight the best in Web3. And as I always say, just kind of sums it all up beautifully is we're not going to win unless we all win. And that's what we're here to help propagate today. So let's keep that in mind here, and we'll make it happen. So, Bolan, you've given us a beautiful overview of the game itself. You've given us a bit about your own personal history with it. Where do you think we should get started?
Well, I think best place to start is the beginning, right? So, talking about how to kind of get into DFK and, look around and explore what's there. And then we can get into some of the finer details as well.
Perfect. Well, hey, let's do just that. So I've actually here, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys here real quick. Let's pull this up. So before I actually do, I just want to mention, to get started, it's super easy. You can find DeFi Kingdoms on X. It's as easy as logging into your accounts, spelling out DeFi Kingdoms, no underscores, nothing. Just put that in there. You'll find them. Make sure that it is their official account, because clicking on wrong links, there's tons of copies. There's tons of scammers out there. They want to steal your money. So make sure that they have the blue check beside them. Make sure it's actually spelt DeFi Kingdoms. And they have right now 112,000 followers. So, but you can click on the link in their bio, which is DeFiKingdoms.com. And that'll take you over to their website here and their game. And I've done a couple steps already, but here's where we're at. So just to kind of let everyone know where we're at here, I've logged in. I've created I connected my wallet. I've bridged over AVAX from the Avalanche network onto your chain, which is the DFK chain, and that's it.
Yeah. So real quick, 30-second backstory for anybody who cares. We launched with the intention of being a cross-chain game. So we currently are cross-chain. We have, as Trav mentioned, our Avalanche L1, which is DFK chain, which is essentially our own chain. We are also live on Clayton with a second realm. So the realm that you're looking at right now is Crystal Vale. We also have Sarandale, which is our second realm. And then player versus player combat specifically is launching in the Coliseum, which we are bringing to Metis. So when you go to our X account, if you feel like scrolling down a little bit, we may or may not have been dropping some teasers and little hints here and there. So you can take a look at some of the artwork and all of that stuff. But you can also get Jewel on Metis through Hercules today. But obviously, right now, there's not really anything you can do with Jewel on Metis just yet, but you will be able to soon. So we're going to use Crystal Vale as the example here. But the majority of this flow, if not all of this flow, you'll be able to do on Metis soon enough as well.
I love it. I'm super excited about that. Super bullish. I mean, I've been working alongside Metis now for quite a while, and there's a lot to be bullish about. Just real quick, I'll just drop. I think the thing that I am the most bullish about is their commitment to decentralization. Putting that first and foremost, and that's honestly, for me personally, that's what brought me here in the first place. Is giving us all an equal playing field and bringing the wealth back to the people, and that's why we're here. Absolutely. So. First of all, this is beautiful. Pixel art is got a permanent residence in my soul, just from playing games all through the 90s, early 2000s. I love it. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is our world map for Crystal Vale currently. This map actually will grow and get bigger. So where you see the clouds around the edge, that is the undiscovered lands around oh God, I just blanked on the capital name. Adeline, something like, I blanked on it. I apologize. But so this is the capital city of Crystal Vale, and then the clouds will recede as those lands are kind of discovered. But for right now, the capital is really all you need. It's kind of the hub of activity. And so you have a bunch of different zones, and we'll talk about a couple of them here in just a second. We'll see some of them. And so each of these zones kind of serve a different purpose depending on what you're looking for. So right now for yourself, you're just coming in, you've got some Avox. So where you are going to want to go first is the marketplace. So the marketplace is the kind of hub of a lot of our DeFi portions, to be honest. It's got our DEX. We actually have a AMM DEX, which is a Uniswap V2 fork, but we also have a custom order book DEX that we built out as well. So we've got both of those, and there's obviously a handful of NPCs here. But just to start simple, directly to the right of the fire is the trader. So the trader is our DEX interface.
Wow.
So this is our AMM DEX. It's just a standard DEX, but meant to be more fun and inviting than just a bunch of charts.
I love
So
that.
you go in here and see a bunch of different, whatever tokens you have and want to trade to and everything like that. So realistically, you're going to want to do, you'll want to end up getting a little bit of 2 tokens, a little bit of Jewel, because Jewel is used as gas on DFK chain. So you want to make sure that you've got some gas. And then the other one is Crystal. And so Crystal is what we refer to as the power token of Crystal Veil. So any kind of cost in Crystal Veil, like buying heroes, summoning more heroes, anything like that, is all done in Crystal Veil.
Gotcha. Okay, that's awesome. I did not realize that until this exact point here, but I think this is incredible. I love that you have actual DEX applications inside your game. Like, this is the first I've ever seen this. Kobe, have you seen this before?
No. These guys are one of a kind, and I had a 3-hour call with actually the guy who got me into Web3 like freaking 5 years ago, and I brought DeFi Kingdoms up, and we actually spent a 3-hour call so I could basically teach him what has changed since he stepped away. And he was like, oh wait, like I've heard of those guys. And so I guess I bring that up because these guys are OGs. Like, I don't have a relationship with them. I have no like investment, no reason to be gassing them up. But one of a kind group of dudes and one of a kind game. It's like half DeFi, half game, right? Like, I feel like, and please, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just as much DeFi as it is a game itself, right?
No, you're spot on. The whole goal is to integrate the two and to make it one experience. So no, you are definitely spot on, and yeah, greatly appreciate it. And that's one thing that we are very proud of is that like we just keep building. And so especially if somebody has stepped away for a year or 2 years or 4 months, like there's a lot that's changed since they've stepped away, and so it's always super fun to get to catch people up on everything that's been going on.
And he's like a TradFi guy, and to have a TradFi guy say, oh, I've heard of DeFi Kingdoms, like that like carries weight, so maybe it hasn't really reflected on the Jewel chart or the market cap, but the awareness is there and the other things will follow. That's just kind of my thought behind it. So
super cool. Also, Kobe, your volume is like this much too quiet. I want to hear your voice a little bit more in my ears. There we go.
How's that?
Perfect.
All right, cool.
Perfect. Now I'm getting my Kobe dose that I need here. Sorry.
And if it happens again, feel free to tell me. I'll fix it.
Perfect. Excellent. So let's keep this ball rolling here. Bolin, we've got some Jewel and we've got some Crystal now. So what do you propose would be a good next step here for us?
Yeah, so I actually, because we're already in the marketplace, I'm going to say that we take a 20-second detour real quick, just because I want to show it to you. Bottom left, open up the Bazaar. So the Bazaar is our custom order book DEX. And so the main reason that we built out and launched a custom order book DEX in addition to our AMM DEX is for non-decimalized tokens. So we are a game. We are going to have tokens that don't have 18 decimals. There's obviously a whole lot of them realistically because they're game items, and not all game items make sense to be fractionalized. So that can present liquidity issues on AMM dexes. They don't handle that fantastically well. So we actually built this out as well. So you can see, there's potions and different items and all kinds of different stuff there. But what I really just wanted to highlight was kind of how that UI looked and worked. So whatever item you are looking at, so like right now it's on an anti-potion poison, which is fine. You can see the spread in the top right, so you can see what people have them listed to sell for, what people have them listed to buy for. You can do market orders, you can do limit orders. You have all of that flexibility built into the user interface. So when we say we want like an open world player driven economy, like first and foremost, you're not buying anything from us. You're buying anything you buy, you're buying from other players. But we want to make sure that we provide the tools for that economy to be driven by players and be open, and really just be flexible to give players the options to do whatever it is that they decide they want to do. So one thing you may notice is that this is in Joule. The reason that it is in Joule is it is like this specific feature is intended to go across multiple chains, and so it being in Joule allows for easier price comparison rather than having to go, okay, well this is listed for this much crystal and this is listed for the so try to simplify matters where we can, at least. But I just wanted to highlight that real quick. If you're coming in and you're looking to buy Joule or crystal, you can do that on the Bazaar, but it's generally not the most efficient because most people just LP and use the AMM decks. But when you start getting into all of those different tokens, this is a really great opportunity. And especially for DeFi natives, it's something that I'm super excited about and always have been. I think it's an awesome tool.
Trav, did you ever play RuneScape?
I regretfully never actually played RuneScape.
Well, it's okay.
No.
I wasted a lot of hours of my grade school life playing RuneScape. And anyways, this open market just has like those vibes, right? Like,
love it. I love it.
Of course, with way more features and way more upside, obviously. But yeah, I love that nobody's buying anything from you. Probably another reason why you guys have been able to grow such a loyal audience. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we're not farming our audience. This is, open market. Yeah, we love that. So
I think this is incredible. I think this is like my first reference of comparison here was World of Warcraft, their auction house. And I remember having vivid memories back in like the early 2000s of thinking, you could actually monetize this and add liquidity to this. I didn't use the word liquidity. I had no idea what the heck that was. But like, this is exactly what my dream was. Like, this is a real world market in a video game where you can buy and sell and actually make, like, these are all the prices in US dollars. Like, I imagine you can find this somewhere in the world and then sell it and then make $7 US, which is pretty freaking cool.
And you can, if you so choose, you can take that $7 out of the game, and not have to go to eBay and hope that you don't get blacklisted. But yeah, I mean, that is exactly the intention. So I'm glad that you like that. I wanted to detour because I know you're a DeFi guy as well, and it's just something that I think is really, really a very different approach to it. So the other place that I wanted to show you, which is also player to player, we're going to get to the equipment shop as well, Sticks and Turn. I was having the same thought. But before we get to the equipment shop, first we're going to go to the hero shop. So you can close out of that. You can click anywhere, click the X. And so...
Can I interrupt you for 2 quick seconds?
I've
seen multiple comments in the chat about the music. I've heard you guys both comment on the music. I'm going to try pulling up the music here. Let's see if this will work. It's I haven't fully figured it out on let's see here. But here, we're going to turn off our music. We're going to turn this one up a little bit. Can you guys hear that?
Yes. And you should be able to, if you click on the person icon in the top right, there should be, and then switch to the audio tab, and you got some volume controls there.
Perfect. So I can't really hear it that well right now. So why don't you guys...
I would say crank it down maybe like 20%, if that.
How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd say that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, just a little bit of background on the music. So everything we've done is obviously, us custom building everything. So we have a phenomenal team of pixel artists who have made this absolutely beautiful world and continue to just make incredible material. And then we also have a composer that works with our project. So his name is Sam Shandley. If you're looking for him, he is on Twitter at Sam Shandley, if I remember correctly. If you check the DeFi Kingdoms profile, you'll see that I tag him to rain him and praise all the time. So he's easy to find. But for every zone that you go to, you will actually hear a different track. When you go into like PvP or PvE battles, you'll hear different tracks. So he actually builds a track from scratch for every single one of these areas, and he's just absolutely incredible. And we've talked about like Crystal Vale versus Sarandale, our other realm. The zones are very comparable between those two realms, but the music is fully independent as well. So he has made an absolutely incredible amount of music for us and done so well. It is definitely one of our most complimented features. And it just really helps to pull you into that nostalgia. Like you get the pixel art and then you get those music vibes. And I know there's a lot of people that do it, and I do it myself as well, where I'll just go to a zone and then I'll just leave it open in the background on my computer, just the music while I do other stuff.
Oh, I love that. I'm a huge fan. Honestly, when I was just browsing around and doing some research, I was doing the same thing. I was, it was perfect. It was excellent. So yeah, my friend, mad props to the composer of this. What was his name one more time? Steve?
Sam Shandley.
Sam Shandley. Yeah. Respect, my friend. Huge shout out to you.
Incredible.
Perfect. So before I cut you off, you were directing me somewhere else.
So from here, there's really two ways that you can kind of navigate around. The first option is the hamburger menu in the far top right, which is just a drop-down list of different places to visit. The other option is to use the button there in the bottom right and just jump back to the world map. I tend to go that a little bit further to the right. Yeah, there you go. I tend to go that route just out of habit, to be honest. So from here, we are going to go to the tavern, and the tavern is basically the tavern is the home of our heroes, so to speak. So our heroes are our NFTs. They are how you engage in the game itself. So we've got a couple different options here. So the barkeep is basically a catalog of all heroes that are in existence, and also lets you send heroes back and forth between you and your friends or whatever you want to do. And then the agent is the actual marketplace. So again, this is 100% player to player. So when you buy heroes, you're not buying them from DeFi Kingdoms. You're actually buying them from a player who has gone out and created these heroes. So there's a lot that we can dive into with heroes. I'll keep it relatively surface level as best I can. But if you have any questions or anything, obviously let me know. So if you think traditional RPG, whether that be RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Ultima Online, whatever option you want to take, right? There's multiple aspects of a character. So the first one is class. So we have a class structure. So we have basic classes, advanced, elite, and exalted. But that's where you get priest, monk. Looks like a row of monks there, but priest, monk, archer, thief, all of those kind of classes are going to be your basic classes. And then from that, you get into Dark Knight, Paladin, and that kind of thing as you go up that class level. But to start with, you've got the different classes. So every hero will belong to one of those classes. And then there's as you play with your hero, play the game, whether that be questing, combat, whatever the case may be, your hero gains experience, and then with that experience, you can level up your hero. So that's what that last bar at the bottom of the card is the XP bar. So as it fills up, you can then go level up your hero to make them stronger, get stat increases, that kind of thing. And so you can see here, that was perfect timing. Thank you. You can see here, you've got all of your standard RPG stats. So strength, endurance, agility, luck, all of that kind of stuff. Those are the odds of them increasing each time you level up. You can also see the parents of that hero. So the two heroes that were used to summon this hero, which we'll talk a little bit about in just a minute. And then each hero also has, a profession that it's best with. So again, if you think classic RPG, kind of building your hero, that's all built into this hero card. And so you can see what its stats look like. The green and blue mean that it's getting a little bit of a boost to those stats when it levels based on the genetics of its parents, essentially. And so that's actually one of the really, really cool parts is our heroes actually have a full-blown genetic system. And so right now there are, I actually don't know what the current number is, but I know it's over 1 million. Actually, I know it's over 1.1 million. There have been 1.1 million heroes summoned. Now, some of those have died, but there have been over 1.1 million summoned.
Rest in peace.
Yes. Actually, well, no, that's the Dark Summon icon. Some of them will have a little skull icon in the top, or a little tombstone RIP in the top right. Those are ones that are no longer with us. But of those 1.1 million heroes, we have actually only released or put out 3,000 heroes, which are our Gen 0 heroes, quite literally. They are the ones that started out the population. Every other hero in our game has been summoned by our players. And so when you go to summon a hero, it actually uses the classes of the heroes that you're summoning with, the subclass, the stats of those heroes. All of those components actually determine what the hero you summon is. Now, of course, there's some randomness in there because what's a game without chance? So you're not guaranteed anything, but there's actually a genetic system behind everything that's happening, so that you can, kind of predict what you're creating and guide it as you go.
That is spectacular. I had no idea that this game functioned at such a high level. Like, there's so many intricacies and details and abilities to just really dial in exactly what you want. It's I'm geeking out. I'm kind of lost for words. Kobe, what are you thinking about all this?
Yeah, I'll echo your point and just say.
So you're quiet now again.
I was typing. I didn't want you to hear my keyboard. Check.
You're good, my friend. You're good.
Hey, so yeah, I was. I'll echo your point, and also say that I think it's. I'm trying to think of, like, from a user or gamer perspective. Somebody who is, I grew up in the era where, like, graphics, when new graphics came out and updated graphics, that was like the first thing that everybody talked about. That's what IGN talked about, and I think that at least people in my age group, they see a pixel art game and they're like, no way it could have the level of detail that we just talked about. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And just
I'm like got like goosebumps, man. Like I'm pretty excited. The gamer in me is big excited here. So.
I appreciate it. And just one thing to add real quick, for those of you that are watching this video, we're touching on a lot of things pretty quickly here, and at like a high level. You don't have to like deep dive every one of these things to get started. Like we're touching on all kinds of different stuff. If it's, if you're a new player who's coming into DeFi Kingdoms, and you're like, where do I start? The first question that I ask anybody who's looking to get started is, what aspect are you most interested in? Are you interested in just being a trader and you're trying to figure out how to, get materials and that kind of thing? Are you interested in questing? Are you interested in combat? Are you interested in summoning? Wherever you're like, whatever aspect of this piques your interest, that's where we start, right? We get you into it. There's a ton of reading that you can do, but nobody likes to read. There's also some YouTube videos out there. So, we can help direct you to the best resources for that aspect. And you can get started pretty quickly, realistically. pretty quickly. And honestly, depending on how wild you want to go, you can get started immediately if you want to. I support it, but it may hurt a little on the getting what you want results. And then you just expand from there. So like we're hitting on a lot of different systems because DeFi Kingdoms has a lot of different systems, and one of our goals is to have something for everyone. And so we're touching on each of those things, but you don't have to be a master. I mean, you don't have to be a master in any of them, but you definitely don't have to be a master in all of them just to start playing.
Freaking cool. Well, hey, I think that's probably a great segue into starting to play, or unless there's anything else you'd like us to check out before diving in.
No, I think that's a perfect segue.
Perfect. I will say though that where'd he go? There was one character here, this guy here. He's just bringing back the full-blown Final Fantasy VII vibes, and I can't get enough of it. I'm fully on board with that.
That is the highest class that you can currently attain. There will actually be one class higher that you will need that guy to get to later down the road. But right now, Dread Knight is the top class in our pyramid, and yeah, they're awesome.
That's what I'm playing for then.
And actually, you know what? I lied. I'm sorry. One last thing before we jump into the gameplay side. Actually, if you'll pop back open the Buy Heroes real quick, and just click hero details on any of them, just so that I can show you real quick. So you'll notice on the left and right side of the card, you've got all those little boxes. That is your equipment. So not only are your heroes NFTs, so are all of your equipment. So every sword, every bow, every shield, every piece of armor, they are all NFTs. They are also completely tradable, player to player. We do have a marketplace for that as well. But I just wanted to highlight that real quick. So you can attach weapons, you can attach accessories, you can put, give them armor. Again, very traditional RPG feel in terms of like what you're kind of messing with there. The better the weapon, the more likely you are to hit or do damage or some other effects, whatever the case may be. And then you can outfit your hero, but all of that is also entirely tradable. And right now, the only way to get equipment is through gameplay, through our PvE player versus environment content. So since we were going there anyway, I wanted to tag that into there as well real quick.
That's spectacular. Again, geeking out. Kobe, how about you?
Trav, you can have pets too, man. You can have pets that come with stats too. Like here's one increased chance of finding Gaia's tears by 23% while fishing. This is badass.
I love it.
Yeah, the pets are super fun.
Very warranty language.
They're awesome. And they just provide different bonuses to your heroes, and they will also, well, not all of them, but some of them will also actually provide combat bonuses to your heroes as well here in the near future. We're working on implementation for that as we go, but there's a lot of them. But that'll be really fun as well. But I mean, the pet varieties, I think we've got like 700 different types of pets already, and we've got more to go as well. So everything from wolves to hydras to dragons and everything else you can imagine.
Amazing. I have a quick question. So when you let's say you introduce new pets or new heroes or whatever, is it do you guys go through kind of a similar thing where other games or Web 2 games go through, where you're like, whoa, that's a little too strong, we're gonna need to nerf it or buff it? Do you guys do nerfs and buffs?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely. Cool. Yeah, no, for sure. So balance is forever, particularly in combat. Like outside of combat, as far as questing goes, that kind of thing, not really. There's times where something needs to be tweaked, and that's fine. But for the most part, that kind of just runs. As far as combat goes, balance will be forever. And so we've done some buffs and nerfs already, and we will continue to do more. And so a big part of our development process is balance testing. we design it, we code it, we make sure that it works the way that it's intended to work, and then we get into the balance side of things, which is actually super fun, to be perfectly honest. So always have a good time with the balance testing. But yes, one thing that is very, very worthwhile to note is that all of that is subject to change. And one thing that, it's interesting being a Web3 game because like your hero is your NFT, right? That said, we aren't like the moves within combat, which we'll get into here in just a second anyway, aren't part of your NFT. Like they're kind of a separate thing. So like us adjusting the move doesn't change your NFT. That said, there is an argument that it impacts your NFT, and that's a fair argument. But that's the reality of a game. Like if we don't build a balanced game, your NFT doesn't matter because it's not fun. Like, congratulations, you have the strongest class because it's broken, but nobody wants to play because it's broken. Like, nobody wins. So that is a very important thing, though, for people to know going in. Like, it is a game. It is still under development, but even if it's not under development, balance never ends, and it will continue to be adjusted as it needs to be.
Respect. Yeah, huge fan of that. Much respect for that. I love to hear it. Kobe, was there any I interrupted you, so I apologize for that. Any feedback you wanted on that?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I would assume that even more so, like, especially with like the PvP coming, like those like balance would probably be even more crucial, and like back testing that balance and new items and stuff like that. So very excited, and I'm assuming you have. So do you have team members do testing, or do you have community members do testing? A little bit of both.
So it depends on what it is. As a general rule, we try to at least we don't want anybody outside of our team to get into it until we at least feel good about it. Does that mean it's perfect? No. But, we don't want to just hand it to them blindly and say, hey, hope this is good. So we always go to some folks on our team first. We have a QA expert who's absolutely phenomenal. So not only is he doing like quality assurance on like features and making sure everything works properly, he's excellent at balance testing as well. And then interestingly, actually, our project manager is one of the best of our team at the game itself. Because I'll tell you right now, I am mid at best. It is what it is. Working for the game did not give me an advantage in being good. But he's one of the best on our team, and so he also participates in a lot of the balance testing. And then a lot of times, the reality is kind of everybody who's playing is testing. And that's the beauty of it, right? Like that's the benefit of Web3 is everybody gets to play this as we build it and we get feedback out of it. So there are times that we've done a little bit of a like more intentional, hey, this is kind of testing release. We actually have a combat testing grounds that is publicly available so that people can go in and try different stuff out as well. But yeah, we try to at least feel like 95% good on it before it leaves the team. And I'd say overall that's gone pretty well so far. But there's definitely some interesting times, like to your point with the pets. I actually don't remember what the final number was, but I want to say it was somewhere around 70 different pet combat bonuses. So it's a lot to test. Some things might slip through here and there, and we'll fix them. But to your point, especially with PvP. Oh, sorry. Especially with PvP, balance is super important because that's what makes it fun. But also, we're gonna have prizes. Like we're gonna run tournaments with like sizable prize pots. It needs to be balanced for that. Like that, it's kind of a requirement, right? So definitely something that we are always thinking about.
The uproar otherwise will be very loud and clear.
That's what I was going to say too.
But I mean, that's kind of the crux of it all. Like that's why you're doing it is
Yep.
You're doing it with the community to make a game that everybody wants to play and everyone's going to enjoy. So that's, that makes a ton of sense. So what do you guys think? Is it time to start playing some of this wonderful sounding game? Or, I mean,
Well, what does he got to do first? Does he have to get a hero? He's got to get a hero first, right?
Yeah, so we will need to pick up a couple heroes, and then I was gonna mention as well. So, couple different aspects of playing. There's questing, which we had talked about before. There will be crafting. We are not at crafting yet, but there will be to make armors, weapons, all that good stuff. And then there's the PvE content, which is the void hunts. So right now for the void hunts, they're like boss style fights. So the first one starts at level 10, and you use 3 heroes to do that. So I was essentially going to basically just say, like, we'll need to pick up a couple heroes. However, I can also send you a couple if it ends up being easier. So we'll take a look and see what's out there. But we'll get you set up real quick, and then we can jump in. So if you go back to the agent, actually, and back to buy heroes, and then, so there's 2 things that we're going to want to look for. The first one, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the left side menu, and just go ahead and change the minimum level to 10. So that's step 1. And then the other thing, if you go all the way back up to the top. So right now there are 6 classes that have what we are calling codexes, which are their skills actively implemented in combat. So on the left on the top under class, if you want to check the boxes for warrior, and then go left for knight, and then archer right below that. And then, oh god, I can't do this list that slow. Sorry. Warrior, knight, archer, seer, berserker, and priest. There we go. Sorry, if I don't rattle it, it doesn't work. And then hit apply at the top.
Oh, at the top. There we go.
Yep. And so that will filter down your list essentially. Oh, you're okay. I was going to say, did not realize you had reversed pricing. I was very, very confused for a second there. Like, buy that immediately if that is the cheapest hero on the tavern. Okay, so here you've got your kind of hero selection here. To be honest, as I think you would expect, the floor is probably not going to be the best heroes around. However, for our purposes, they probably can work. Scroll down just a little bit. So my recommendation to get started is to do one of 2 builds probably, which would be an archer, a priest, and then either a knight or a warrior. It looks like there's some knights for a pretty good cost. Realistically, the archer is going to be the most expensive out of these. But essentially with that build, so you play combat with a team of 3 heroes, and so obviously you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with that, and it's super fun to watch. Even with 6 classes available, the crazy stuff our community has come up with already. But with archer, priest, and then knight or warrior, you have kind of the traditional build. So your archer is a ranged high DPS. That's what he does. Your priest is a healer, and then your knight or your warrior, either one of them, they're both tanks. The warrior is a little bit less tanky, but gives a little bit more damage. The knight is more of like your traditional, like, is Paramount that one? Yeah, Paramount tank. The traditional archetype. That's the word I was looking for. So from in here, honestly, I would say you've got a priest and a warrior right there. I would grab those 2. So you'll hit the buy hero button. I see Sticks and Turn agrees about warrior over knight. I think it's more fun, to be honest. You just get a little more flexibility. Knight is very much about, like, I'm just going to let you hit me, and I'm going to do stuff to make me not care. Warrior's like, yeah, you're going to hit me, but I'm going to hit you back. So I enjoy warrior. I think it's a lot of fun.
All right. It was confirmed. There we go.
You'll need to do one more, actually. So that was the contract approval to be able to spend crystal, and then it should update the button in just a second to buy, but you'll only have to do the approval one time. You don't have to do it every single time.
I did it twice. Hold up. Buy hero. There we go.
Yeah.
All
and then you can go ahead and close out that top window.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then do the same thing on the warrior, but you should not need to approve it again.
Gotcha.
Yep. So yeah, because everything is player to player, these are all contract interactions. So like right now, you're actually interacting with our escrow contract. So when a player lists a hero for sale, it goes into our escrow contract, and then obviously when you buy it, everything exchanges. So as you go through, if you're using a traditional wallet like MetaMask or Rabby or Core or any of the others, pretty much everything you do, you'll have a contract approval the first time, and then that will carry over ongoing. All right, so you got those two. Just on the left side menu, click all under class, because that'll be the fastest way to reset it, and then just click Archer again and hit apply. And we'll narrow down to just archers. There we go. Honestly, I would say I would go with Archer Berserker. I'd go with that third one if it was me. Without going too far into the hero, first and foremost, it has summons available. So if we talk a little bit, or as we've talked about summoning, if you decide you want to give it a shot, you've got a hero that you're able to do it with. They are finite numbers of summons, except for those Gen 0 heroes. So once they're out, you can actually, there's a way to burn them called dark summoning, but then you are burning your hero. But with traditional summoning, there is a finite number of them. But that'll give us a good team to get started with and have some fun. All right. So
kind of like our Arena of Faith stream a little bit, talking about like structuring teams and stuff like that, like making sure you got that, that front line, back line, healer, or mage, stuff like that.
Very, very much so. So you can go ahead and close out of that window and go over, actually still in the tavern, but behind the bar, the Hunts NPC right there. Yep. And there will be a secondary sign-in. So our combat engine itself is off-chain because signing a transaction for every time you swing your sword is not an enjoyable experience. So this essentially links your wallet to it doesn't actually link is a dangerous word, I guess. It affiliates your wallet address with our offline database, essentially, or off-chain database. So again, that's a pretty much one-time thing. Like if it's been long enough, you might have to sign in again, but that's it. But yeah, there's a lot of team building that goes into this. And actually, the guy that's been commenting, Sticks Intern, has some really, really good YouTube videos on different team building styles and different comps. Like he likes to explore a little bit, which is always fun. All right, so go to the Mad Boar Hunt. So this is our first boss style fight. So it starts at level 10. We are going to have lower level combat as well, of course, but we do not yet. And so we're going to pick our party. So any of them, just click the plus. It'll actually load for all three of them. So personally, I go archer back, priest middle, and then warrior front. There is some controversy of whether you should put your archer in the back or in the middle, or put your healer in the back. So, personal preferences, but this is generally my layout. And then if you scroll down just a little bit, so we're going to go into the ability selection. So if you click select abilities, so you're going to see essentially the skill tree for this hero. So there's 15 different skills available currently. There will be a total of 21 as these heroes level up. There'll be more skills unlocked for them. But for right now, we've got the 15. And so essentially, again, traditional RPG, we're going to pick one per tier. As you can see, you can hover them and see kind of what they do. And several of them have combos where if you do this move the turn before, you get an additional bonus. But just to kind of help you get started here. So for the archer, there's really two main builds for the boar hunt. We're going to go with the left-hand one. So it's going to be for 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be the left-hand side icon.
Beauty.
And then for the 4th tier, so there's an argument for either the left or the right. I'm going to say go right for this, and let's have some fun. And you can change this anytime you go into combat as well right now. So you can go ahead and close that one, and we will do the same thing for the priest, but we can speed it up a little bit. So left-hand side, middle, and left-hand side. And we'll talk more about what these do once we get in there. But and then same warrior, we will go left-hand side, and then right.
Beauty.
All right. And then, so one other piece real quick, but we're not going to really worry about it. I'll just mention it. But potions. So you can actually use items that you find through crafting to make different potions. There's 9 different types of potions that do all kinds of different things. But your basic ones are health and mana vials, health and mana potions, that kind of thing. So as a general rule, I would normally say, like, this is where we do some potions. But, you know, that's up to you if you want to add some potions today or if you want to dive into it and just kind of get the feel for it.
Yeah, I mean, let's throw a potion in there. Let's see what that process looks like.
So click select loadout, and we actually should be able to, yep. So hit edit there on that top one. So you can pre-save 3 different loadouts. Oh, dang, I remembered wrong. Okay, that's fine. So close this window and the one below it real quick, which it will actually save this for us as well. So close that one also for me. We're going to hop back to the marketplace real quick. So world map on the bottom right.
There we go.
And then marketplace, and you know what? Let's do it in the bazaar just because it's fun. So go to the bazaar for me, and bottom left.
Sorry, on this screen here or back in the world map?
No, sorry, on this screen, the NPC on the bottom left is called the bazaar.
There you go. Bottom left. I was looking right.
You're good, no worries. And so you can just type in health vial right there on the top.
Health vial. Okay, wait. Run that by me one more time. I was pumping up a comment there. So say that again.
Oh, good. In the search bar right there, if you'll just type health vial, there's a few different ways to filter it and all, but I'm a searcher. It's quicker. And so just switch over to market order. And honestly, you don't need many. I would say, you know, pick up 1 or 2 just for the fun of it.
Let's do it.
My warrior build is aggro. Listen.
If you aren't aggro, what the hell are you doing? Go home.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Amen. Bowling. Let's go. Oh, it's Six Intern. I did peep the YouTube channel. I gave you a sub, and nice. I'll be sharing around your content. So, if you've got any that you want me to share, PvP Anthem 4 weeks ago.
And then do the same thing for Mana Vial real quick, and then we'll pick up one last thing that. So while that one runs, there is, so when you go into hunts, if you beat the hunt, you have a chance for various rewards, including equipment, like I mentioned earlier. So there's weapons and armors that only come from hunts, which actually right now are the only weapons and armor. So they are very exclusive, pretty low drop rate, so they stay really rare. Our equipment will have durability. We have not turned it on yet because we want to get a little more of a cycle going of getting equipment before we start breaking it on people. But there will be durability to keep that revolving kind of economy going. But for right now, when you go into a hunt, the guild actually lends you better equipment. So there is a small gold cost. So you can go ahead and close that top window for the mana vials. It'll finish in the background, and then type in where you have mana right now, type in gold. Yep. And then that very top result for gold. And if you would pick up 500 gold.
Let's do it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel pretty rich right now.
Doing great so far.
Excellent, excellent. So that is pending. Close this
so
up.
you can go ahead and close out of that, and actually you can close all the way out of it and go ahead and go back to the tavern while we let that load.
Tavern.
So world map again.
Oop, crap. Hold up. I accidentally clicked a transaction here. There we go. World map.
And then the tavern, and it found it faster than I did. And then the hunts gentleman one more time behind the bar. Start. So we'll have you actually. Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say it would have you pick your heroes, but save your skills. But it actually saved your heroes too. So you're good to go. So if you scroll down, go to select loadout one more time. Now that we've got those potions, edit that top loadout, and just go ahead and add both or however many. To your loadout, and then hit save. Yep, and hit select. And there you go. Now, one thing I mentioned, the contract approvals, you're going to have a few to do here. So real quick, you'll actually click both of those potion icons to approve the potions, and then you'll also approve the gold and the crystal. It doesn't matter what order you go in, you're fine. So again, one-time approvals. Once you do it, you're good. But basically, what the approvals are for anybody who's not familiar, you're giving that contract permission to spend the tokens out of your wallet, essentially. So it's a security measure so that nothing can spend without your explicit permission. All right.
And I click on these ones here as well, do I?
Yeah, so those will approve the potions. And then essentially, when you start combat, very similar with the escrow side. So it actually escrows the potions that you bring in, and then at the end of the fight, it gives back any that you did not use.
Perfect.
And one thing too, just while we're having that load real quick, you'll notice right above the potions, it has battle inventory and battle budget. And then it has 22 stone and 11 stone. So those are actually weights that are assigned to the potions. And so part of the balancing of these combats is that you can only bring in so many potions, and you can only use so many potions. So we specifically set it up to where you can bring in more than you can use, so that you have options and then can use what you need. But that way you can't go in and just say, well, I'm just going to spam potions until I win. We have kind of a preventative there. And then if you would click start void hunt right there at the bottom, and we will kick this off.
Let's do it.
And while it loads, I will give a shout out. Mikey mentioned in a comment. So for anybody who doesn't want to deal with the wallet side of things, or if you are not currently set up with MetaMask, Grabby, whatever the case may be, we do have an account abstracted wallet integrated into our platform. So when you very first hit our landing page, it gives you the option of creating an account or connecting a wallet. Our account abstracted wallets are provided by our partners over at Holiday. They are absolutely phenomenal. But basically, you type in an email address or connect to Gmail, and you're in and you go. You actually don't have to approve transactions. You don't have to you bypass a lot of stuff because it's just dealt with for you on the back end. So MetaMask is great.
Probably be the better option is using your guys' wallet, or would it's just preference?
It is ultimately preference. I will say, in my opinion, the user experience is better with the account abstracted wallet because you don't have all the transaction approvals all the time, but you are giving up a little bit of control, right? Like you click yes and it goes, rather than having that kind of secondary fail-safe. So it depends. If you are a Web3 native and you're comfortable using MetaMask, and you're used to signing the transactions and you're happy with that, fantastic. But if you want a little bit of a smoother experience, a little less to deal with, then yeah, the account abstracted wallet is absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome. I appreciate the honesty about that too. That that means a lot and says a lot about your character here as well. Perfect. So also, I just want to mention, guys, just take a quick step back here. We have been chatting for about an hour, so we will be stopping the stream pretty soon. Even though I feel like we're just getting to the point where things are coming together and we're about ready to start playing here. So we will play around, but I propose let's run this back. Let's do this again. And next time we'll be all prepped and we can get straight into it and explore all the different styles of gaming. How does that sound?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Perfect. Any idea why this is taking as long as it is? Is that just something on my end, which is very, very likely, or what's going on here?
It should not be taking this long. I will say sometimes screen sharing does cause some lag on our combat engine. But try doing just refresh the window if you would, and let's see if it'll.
Or here, what I could do is I can stop screen sharing.
Oh yeah, that may be enough for it to push.
Here we go. StreamYard makes it take longer to join matches than normal. Perfect. That makes a ton of sense. So let's stop the screen share for a sec.
It's one of my constant pain points. Like I want to show it off, work better. And for whatever reason, it seems to be, to Sticks Intern's point, a lot of it's StreamYard pretty specific, and Google Meets, interestingly. But I know like Sticks Intern uses Streamlabs and it doesn't have that issue.
Okay.
I know like people have used, I can't think of the other software that OBS doesn't, but for whatever reason, some of them seem to.
It sounds like the web based versus the application based is probably
honestly that's very possible, actually, now that you say it, especially because we are a web based game, so right. You're kind of competing tabs there, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so good news and bad news. I'm using MetaMask wallet, by the way.
Okay.
Let's pull this back up here. Screen sharing.
What did it do? Let's go.
So here we are. I did refresh the page here. So
okay.
Oh, the transaction is still pending, it says on the top.
Does it show still pending in your MetaMask?
I'm
getting the circle of doom. Oh, yes, it is. I can speed it up and see how that happens. See how that works.
That may be worth a shot.
All right.
I don't know why it would still be pending, but that's okay.
I'll stop the screen share again. See what happens. Oop.
While we are waiting for Trav, is there anything that maybe you want to plug? Maybe I know we've just briefly kind of talked about like PvP, and Metis. Is there any like maybe meta specific stuff that you would want to plug, since it is kind of where one of my homes that I put my flag, I should suppose.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I would say, so there's well, no, there's so many. I started to say there's two big things, but there's so many big things. But so we have one release coming, and then we have like so much coming. So I will plug real quick what we are calling our expedition system, which is basically a way to passively quest. So I know we didn't go too deep into questing today, which is fine. But essentially the way it works right now is you send your hero questing, it quests for an amount of time until it runs out of stamina, and then you bring your hero back, and you kind of have to keep that cycle going. Expeditions will actually give you a way to passively quest. Honestly, almost indefinitely. You could set it for up to 3 years if you wanted to, and basically just let that hero keep questing. You can collect loot whenever you want, without even pulling it out. So we are putting that out as like a premium feature. So you have to stake some jewel to be able to access that feature, basically. But it's a great quality of life improvement, and especially as all of this combat stuff comes out, it frees up people's time to engage in the game differently, rather than spending a bunch of their time questing their heroes, which is awesome. However, aside from that, real quick, sorry, detour, that is a good point as well from the comments. If you go to speed up the transaction and edit the gas settings, depending on what it's giving you, if you set it to, I can just tell you, if you set it to like 7.5 Gwei and 0 priority, it should run right through. MetaMask gas estimation has been a little weird for us lately. But so
It's not
after
just DFK.
expeditions, combat. So we have PvE, as we've talked about, which we may show you today, or we may show you next time. We'll see. But outside of PvE, PvP, player versus player, full blown competition, tournaments, prizes, the whole 9 yards. That is coming exclusively to Metis, and we're so freaking excited for it. Like this has been such a big part of the game for like pending for years now. So we are super excited to be getting to the point of bringing you player versus player combat, introducing that competition into Web3 gaming, putting up these prize pools. Like it's just such a huge milestone that, you know, it cannot be, in my opinion, overstated. Metis has been absolutely amazing. They've been great to work with, incredible partners already. So very, very, very bullish on PvP coming to Metis. I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing for everybody.
Hell yeah. Awesome. And I know myself, I used to be this way, not so much anymore. And then Trav, I'll kick it back to you. I used to be, and I know there's tons of gamers that are like this. They won't even touch a game if they can't do PvP.
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
They just won't. They're like, all right, I'll wait for it, or I just will never play it. So, Trav.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that PvP is a huge part of it. I remember like my first time ever playing a PvP game, just the pace being at such a higher level, it was so addictive. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So yeah, I think that's super bullish. I can't wait to try that myself. And I think we are finally ready. Let's try
to jump in. Perfect.
Kind of.
Let's see.
Okay, so I reloaded everything. I said start Void Hunt. I canceled the prior transaction and put it in a new one. Apparently it has been confirmed, but it's not getting me in. Maybe I'll try start Void Hunt again. Do you think that would make
I would actually, if the transaction went through, do a refresh first, I would say, because it may then be available for you to jump into.
Perfect. Maybe I'll stop screen sharing again while I do that.
There you go. While he refreshes too, I just wanted to comment on like the quality of life improvement or update about the expedition mode, right? I know it's like a premium feature. You'll have to stake some jewel to do that, which is fine because I think that probably the majority of people that want that feature are already staking jewel. If I'm
most likely.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to stake a lot of jewel. Like we didn't want it to be prohibitive. We want it to be accessible. But realistically, if you are willing to put in the time manually to grind it out, there should be some kind of advantage for you for that. So it's kind of just balancing those two factors. Trav, if it's still being a pain for you, I can also show one of my battles just as an example for today, and then we can troubleshoot and see what's going on. But okay, so it did put it in progress at least. So I don't know why it's not wanting to jump you into the combat engine. Come on.
Okay, yeah. Error DFK user profile not found.
I did not even think about that. I apologize. That is my fault. Yep, you would have to name your profile first, which only takes a second. But here, if it works for you, let's do this.
Yeah, why don't for this time, do you want? Yeah, let's pull up your screen here.
Yeah. So one thing that's really cool about the combat system as well is every hunt or every battle actually is its own URL. So it actually saves them so that you can go back and, replay them, share the replays, view them, whatever the case may be. So I'm actually just going to show you a fight that I did last night because I can do that. Dang it.
Well, okay, cool. Lost Kobe for a sec. He'll be back though. All is good.
All good. All right, so it will load here in just a second. As mentioned, StreamYard might make it look a little choppy. If it does, I apologize. But welcome to the life of screen sharing. It is not choppy in real life. And actually on my end, it doesn't look bad, but we'll see how the audience says it looks.
Yeah.
But so to give an overview, like I mentioned before, you go in with your 3 heroes. This is actually an archer, priest, warrior comp. So I was honest when I said that I love it. And so it's strategic turn-based style combat. So you can see up at the top kind of your time bar, your action list. So you can see whose turn is next, whether that be a hero or one of your enemies, which in this case are the Mad Boars. And then you can see the different abilities for those heroes. And so on your turn, you're choosing what you want to do, whether that be an attack, a heal, use a potion, reposition your hero, whatever the case may be. Bunch of different status effects. Again, if you think traditional RPG, there's bleed, confuse, daze, stun, a whole slew of status effects as well. So it's a very in-depth turn-based strategic combat system that's meant to feel like a full-blown, Web 2 video game style combat. Like we're not trying to, build a small game. We're trying to build a big game.
Yeah. Evidently so. I can't believe how smooth this is. I mean, I just expected with pixel art that it would be just a little bit blockier, a little choppier, but this is like crisp. I'm really enjoying this. And then, so as you're doing this, I assume you win this battle here. At the end of that,
Yes.
You will gain experience and then kind of level up your characters. Is that, am I assuming that correctly?
Yep. So you gain experience. There is one drop that you're guaranteed, which is called tiers. We won't go too far into that, but you're guaranteed a drop. There is a chance for more of those or less, but you're guaranteed a minimum. And then you also have a chance at a few other items that have different in-game use cases. But the most exciting one is that weapon and armor. So I can actually show you. My warrior actually has what's called a gore blade. So this sword actually came as a drop from the boar hunts. And so now I'm using it to kill the boars. But yes, so you can get different weapons and armor from doing these hunts and then, use that to strengthen your character. So like you can see, this sword gives a chance to inflict bleed on hit. Whereas the base sword does not. It also does more damage, that kind of thing. I believe he is the only one he's the only one with upgraded equipment, but you can see like this guy has a standard bow, that kind of thing. And so, yes, when you win, you are guaranteed some form of loot, but you also have a chance for that crazy good stuff, which just real quick to show you, I'm trying to remember how much longer this fight takes me. I think it's a little bit shamefully long, but so like I said, this is actually a hunt from last night. Every one of them generates its own URL, which is super cool, especially for content creators, because you can go back and kind of pretend that you were streaming it at the time, right? But I wanted to show you real quick, speaking of equipment, and then we can wrap up for today. But if you go in here, so like this gore blade right now is selling for the floor, that's $10. This item floor is $6, but some of these items, like this is, I believe this might be the most rare right now. This is selling for $650 right now.
Wow.
And ultimately this was just a drop from a hunt. Like, it's not
the mother clucker.
That's the bad mother clucker hunt. Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, you can notice some theming here in our weapon names. And same thing with the armor. That's selling for $30. Like, there's pretty cool opportunities here for what you can get, really.
That's spectacular. That's super freaking cool. I am beyond excited about this. I'm one stream definitely isn't enough, and I cannot wait to get back on here. And also, in hindsight, it's probably best that we watch your replay and not have me jump in to play, because that would have taken another hour. I'll guarantee.
Well, we were just gonna teach you some things. But also, apparently, I'm not the best teacher because my warrior builds are aggro. But no, super excited, and I appreciate the opportunity, and obviously I'm very excited as well, which is why the stream ran over an hour also. But I do think it could be a lot of fun to circle back whenever you've got time, and we can do some hunts education and have some fun with it.
That'd be an absolute blast and an absolute privilege. Awesome, my friend. Yeah, Bolin, this has been wonderful. That excitement that you brought with you is seeping all up into this side of the screen here as well. So super grateful. Kobe, any final words you want to share?
No, not really. I think you kind of have both you guys have really hit it on the head. I was following along everything up to buying the heroes. I just need to bridge some funds over. I have Jewel on Metis right now, but I think
you can bridge it.
I can bridge that? Okay, cool.
So easiest way right now, which once we have our interface live on Metis, it'll be even easier because we have it all built in. But if you're connected to DFK chain, go to the docs and talk to the doc master.
Okay, gotcha.
The doc master is our hub for bridging. And so essentially once you talk to the doc master, you'll do bridge tokens, the very last one. And then just switch the starting chain to Metis, and it'll change your RPC, and then you'll be able to bridge Jewel. So like I said, once we have our interface on Metis, you'll be able to do this flow from the Metis side. But yeah, still very easy. Our bridge is powered by Synapse, so you can also go through Synapse's UI if you want. It should be the same thing either way.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'll have some Jewel on DFK then next week or the week after, whenever we schedule our next stream, and I'll be able to follow along and grind out a little bit with you guys. So I'm super excited. Like I said, I'm kind of am that person that doesn't touch a game unless it's PvP. So I'm stoked to.
This is how you get ready.
To pwn some noobs, as they used to say, right?
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, I also want to give a huge shout out to the community. You guys have been so active, so engaged, and I'm super freaking grateful for every single one of you. We got Mega, we got Sticks Intern, we've got Kurt, we have got Mikey, Kupo, we've got, I think that's the
Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph, my man, Ralph. Thank you. Ultra Gringo. Also, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you for all your spectacular input, and we'll be back. This is just the beginning. I'm thoroughly hooked, and to have an excuse to play an hour of this game once a week for the next little while, I'm into it. Also, let us know. Drop us a comment on this post. Drop us a comment anywhere. Drop us a DM. Anything you want to see, anything you may want to have clarified, and we'll make sure to do that for you guys as well. And that's it. Bolin, any final words from you, my friend?
Appreciate you guys for having me on. Much love to our community. They're absolutely amazing. If y'all need anything and you can't get it from me, you can get it from them. They're incredible. But really appreciate you guys having me on and letting me talk DFK, and looking forward to doing it again.
Hey, pleasure is all ours. DFK Worm, respect. Appreciate you being here as well. And we'll be back. Stay tuned. Set your notifications. We will be here likely next week for round 2 of DFK. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.